Chloe stole my boyfriend like it was a game, laughed in my face, and paraded him around like a prize. So I disappeared, rebuilt, and when I came back, I didn't take her man. I married her father. Now I sleep in her childhood bedroom, wear her last name, and sit at the head of her family's table. Call it revenge. Call it twisted. But don't call it over. Because the best part? She still has no idea what I'm planning next. All names mentioned are made up. My name is Valerie. I'm 29, live in Seattle, and I make a living designing luxury interiors for rich people who think beige is a personality. On the outside, I'm poised, polished, and perfectly put together. But inside, I'm a storm wrapped in satin. I've been called many things. Calculated, icy, dangerous with stilettos, but the one title I never saw coming. Stepmom. And certainly not to the witch who tried to ruin me. Her name? Chloe. 19 years old. College freshman. The kind of girl who posts thirst traps disguised as poetry quotes. The kind who thinks dating an older guy makes her deep and interesting. The guy she chose? My boyfriend of 3 years. Ethan. Yeah, that's where this all begins. Ethan and I were comfortable. You know, the kind of relationship where you've memorized their Chipotle order and half their family stories. We'd moved in together, bought a dog, and we're talking about getting engaged. But something shifted. He started going out for drinks, with coworkers more often, getting weirdly protective of his phone. One night, I saw a notification flash up on his Apple Watch. Chloe, you left your hoodie, come back. I didn't lose my mind. Yet. I asked who she was. He laughed. Said she was a colleague's kid sister who had a crush on him, that she was just a baby. Said I was being paranoid. I let it go. For about 2 days. Then I did what any woman with a high IQ and Wi-Fi would do. I investigated. I found her Instagram. Private, of course. But her profile picture showed her wearing my boyfriend's hoodie. Digging deeper, I discovered her TikTok. And there it was, buried under some awful Lana Del Rey remix. When he says he's too old for you, but still sneaks over every night. Olderman, sorry, not sorry. The background? My bedroom. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I screenshotted everything, smiled, and calmly planned their downfall like a 5-course meal. A week later, Ethan broke up with me. Said he needed to find himself, said I was too focused on my career, said I was starting to feel more like a roommate. I smiled the entire conversation. Sure, I said, sipping wine. Go find yourself. Because I'd already found something too. His kryptonite. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to post sad quotes or make angry stories online. I was going to destroy them both with style. And it started at a charity auction gala 3 months later. I wore red, hair up, laughter loud, eyes scanning the room like I owned the place. And then, like fate had RSVP'd just for me, I saw him, Richard Albright, mid-50s, tall, distinguished, very rich, the man Chloe had once posted in a Father's Day photo captioned, "Best dad ever, thanks for never judging me." And that's when the idea hit me like a bolt of divine retribution. If she wanted to play grown-up games, I'd make her my stepdaughter. Richard Albright was exactly the kind of man who was used to getting what he wanted. Powerful, polished, and the kind of silver fox who made waitresses giggle while pouring water. I didn't need to flirt long. One slow strut in that red dress, one charming laugh over a glass of champagne, and he was hooked. He asked what I did for a living. I told him I designed homes for people who collected wine bottles but drank boxed rosé. He laughed so hard I had to touch his arm like it was the most natural thing in the world. He asked if I was seeing anyone. I smiled and said, I'm newly single, but very open to interesting offers. He offered dinner, and baby, I accepted. Our first dinner, at a restaurant that had a menu with no prices. He arrived in a black Tesla, opened doors for me, and told me I had a classic elegance you don't find anymore. By dessert, he was talking about his complicated relationship with his daughter. She's still figuring herself out, he said, stirring his espresso. We've had some bumps. I nodded like I didn't already know every unfiltered, thirst-trappy corner of her internet persona. I get it, I said sweetly. You want the best for her. He sighed like I was the first woman to understand him, and in that moment I became Valerie 2.0, the ideal woman. Elegant, mysterious, supportive, the complete opposite of Chloe's chaotic, glitter-smothered energy. Our dates became weekly, then bi-weekly, then weekends. By month 3, he was introducing me to friends. By month 5, I had a toothbrush at his place. And by month 6, I met her. Oh yes, the moment of glory came at his country club's spring brunch. I wore pastel blue, the color of innocence. Richard had his arm around me like a proud peacock. Then I saw her. Chloe, stumbling toward our table in a dress 2 sizes too tight and heels she didn't know how to walk in. She stopped cold when she saw me. Dad, she said, blinking. Chloe, honey, Richard beamed. This is Valerie. Her jaw dropped. I offered my hand. Nice to finally meet you, I said, oozing sweetness. I've heard, so much. Chloe stared at me like I'd risen from the grave with a vengeance and perfect contour. You're dating her? Richard blinked. You two know each other? We went to the same yoga studio, I said smoothly. But she must not remember me. It's okay. Chloe's lips twitched. She looked like she might either scream or faint, or both. I need to talk to you, she hissed at her dad, dragging him away. They argued behind a hedge, her hands flailed. He frowned, shook his head. I sipped my mimosa and admired the view. Later that night, he told me she had some concerns about me. Of course she does, I said softly. I'd worry too if I were her. She's still adjusting to you dating again, especially someone younger. He looked touched. You're incredibly understanding. I kissed his cheek. I try to be. And just like that, Chloe's little outburst earned me more trust and more access. Weeks passed. I accidentally left earrings at his house, a jacket, a favorite coffee mug. I made her world smaller without even stepping near it. She texted Ethan. I saw screenshots. She's crazy, she wrote. She's manipulating my dad. I think she planned this. Oh, sweetie, you think? Then came the engagement. We were on a yacht, champagne, sunlight, diamonds. He got on one knee. I've never felt this kind of peace with anyone, Valerie. I gasped, touched my chest like a soap opera star, and said yes. He gave me a 3.5 carat symbol of revenge. And Chloe? She gave me a shriek you could hear halfway down the coast. The next day, she sent a long, desperate email to Ethan, according to a friend who saw the screenshots. This woman is out to ruin me. She's marrying my dad just to get back at me. I know it, but he won't listen. I'm losing my mind. Ethan never responded. Because Ethan? He was already blocked. I didn't need him anymore. He was a forgotten stepping stone on my path to sweet, diabolical payback. Now I was weeks away from marrying into her life, from sitting at the head of her holiday dinners, from helping her choose wedding flowers for her own future someday. If she could ever land a guy who didn't ghost her after 3 TikToks. And the best part? She'd have to call me Mom. The wedding was set at a vineyard tucked in the rolling hills of Sonoma, where the wine flows like gossip and the secrets are buried deeper than the grapevines. Guests flew in from across the country. There was a harpist, live swans, and a 7-tier cake that cost more than Chloe's entire college tuition. I chose a classic lace gown, elegant, demure, with just enough slit to whisper danger. Richard cried when he saw me walk down the aisle. And yes, Chloe was there. She was the maid of honor. I insisted. Oh, how could I not? It would mean so much to us both if you stood beside us. I'd cooed to her weeks before, over a casual brunch where she barely touched her eggs. Benedictine glared at me like I'd set her dog on fire. Richard had beamed at the idea. It'll be a new chapter, a family starting fresh. Chloe had no choice. She agreed through clenched teeth, but I could see it in her eyes. The girl was spiraling, and I wasn't about to throw her a rope. The night before the wedding, Chloe pulled me aside. We were in the dressing room, surrounded by pale blue bridesmaid dresses, flowers, and a whole team of glam squad artists fussing over highlighter placement. She waited until we were alone and slammed the door shut. "You're not gonna go through with this," she hissed. I turned, cool as ice. Why wouldn't I? She stepped closer. "Because this is insane. You're almost the same age as me. You used to date my boyfriend. This whole thing, it's twisted." I shrugged. "Your dad doesn't seem to think so. He doesn't know who you really are." "Oh, sweetie." I stepped closer until I could smell her overpriced perfume. "That's where you're wrong. He knows exactly who I am. A woman who was wronged. A woman who rebuilt herself from scratch. And soon, his wife." She stared at me, eyes wide. So I leaned in and whispered, "You shouldn't have touched what was mine." Then I left her there, shaking. The ceremony was flawless. Richard cried again when I said my vows. Chloe didn't. She stared daggers the entire time. Her hands clenched so hard, her bouquet stem snapped. I kissed him. Applause erupted. And just like that, I became her stepmother. But it gets better. The reception was a full-blown spectacle. Garden lanterns, string quartets, and champagne that tasted like justice. I gave a toast, naturally. I thanked friends, family, and then turned to Chloe. "And to my new stepdaughter," I said, holding my glass high, "who taught me that sometimes, when someone tries to break your heart, the universe hands you something much better in return." Gasps. Laughter. Chloe knocked over her chair on the way out. It was delicious. Now let's fast forward a little. I moved into Richard's estate. Yes, the same one Chloe grew up in. I renovated her old room into my walk-in closet. I accidentally donated all her forgotten stuff to charity. When she brought a guy home for the holidays, I made him call me Mrs. Albright. Richard, oblivious, happy, adoring. He called me his angel. I let him. But here's the real twist. Remember Ethan? Yeah, he came crawling back. 2 months after the wedding, late night texts, missed calls, even you up DM on Instagram like this was some teen drama. He had no idea what I was now. No clue that I'd become Chloe's stepmother, that I'd married into the life she thought she was building, that I'd become untouchable. So I agreed to meet for coffee. He showed up scruffy and pathetic, asking if we could talk about everything. I slid the wedding photo across the table. The look on his face? Priceless. You married her dad? He gasped. No, darling, I smiled. I married into my revenge. Chloe tried to start drama after that. Told Richard everything. About Ethan, about our past, about how this was all a sick game, and guess what? He didn't believe her. She's just jealous, he said. Traumatized by your mother leaving, I added sympathetically. It's probably unresolved grief. He scheduled therapy for her. She tried to show him our old photos, me and Ethan on vacations, at dinners, cuddled up with our dog. I told him they were photoshopped. He believed me. Because love isn't blind, it's obedient. Now I host family dinners. I send her thoughtful birthday gifts, post loving photos of my sweet stepdaughter on Facebook with cringy hashtags like bonus mom, blended beauty, just to twist the knife. And when she tries to escape it, I remind her, politely, always politely, that I'm family now. Forever. So to anyone who thinks stealing someone's man is just a phase, just know this. Some women forget. Some women forgive. And some women become your stepmom, wear your last name, and take your whole damn life.